What's good, everybody? It's been Big Dom coming back at you. Another True Players podcast episode, guys. It's been a minute since I spoke to you guys. A lot of things have happened since the last time we spoke. Knicks made a trade for Jose Alvarado, traded away Yabusele, and the New York Jets head coach revamped his staff as well. So we're going to talk about all that. And also, we're going to talk about the Mets spring training starts and the expectations that the owner has set for them. And let's start with the New York Knicks right now. They're currently 37-22. They just lost the game to the new look Cleveland Cavaliers with James Harden on the team. Now, the thing that bothers me about the New York Knicks at the beginning of the season, everyone chose the Knicks as the team to beat in the East. Well, with all due respect, that has changed. You got the Detroit Pistons, who are the number one team in the East at 42-14. We got the Celtics out of nowhere without Jason Tatum is the number two seed in the East at first in the Atlantic Division. And the Knicks are tied right now with the Cleveland Cavaliers for the third spot in the Eastern Conference. This is an issue, and I think this has exposed the New York Knicks' overzealous nature to fire Tom Thibodeau. I truly believe if Tom Thibodeau was the coach, um, you'll have a different feeling about the team than what you see right now with Mike Brown as head coach. There should not be any reason why Cat should get 5 shots per game. Last game he was 5 for 5. He only had 5 shots. Yes, he leads. He's among the leaders in the rebounding. That's all great and dandy. But we traded for a guy. We traded Julius Randle for a guy that's supposed to give us 25 and 10 every game. Every game. And in this offense here with Mike Brown, he's not doing that. He's still having his struggles. I don't know. What I've seen is a lot of ball movement. Yes, the team needs ball movement. But by the same token, you got to have your star players have the ball in their hands when it's time to score. There's been games where Jalen Brunson's been pounding that basketball, keeping the ball to himself, and taking most of the shots. There's times that Cat has disappeared from games against the big teams, not the small teams, the big teams. Teams like Detroit, teams like the other day Cleveland Cavaliers. Was his field goal percentage the best? Yeah, 100%. But you only take 5 shots. I'd rather have a 40% shooting percentage while he's taking 20 shots. Because you add if he's 40% field goal, 40% to 45% field goal percentage, he's probably scoring over 20 points, more than likely. But I think I'm starting to sour on Mike Brown. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm souring on him as the head coach of the New York Knicks. Was he the right fit for this team as constructed? There's been too many off nights for both OG and Mikal Bridges. Too many off nights for a team that is supposed to be competing for a championship. This has to change because, granted, we got a little bit over 20 games left in the season. They're 37-22 right now. They got a little bit over 20 games left. They got to give us reason, give us some confidence that they could beat Detroit. They could beat Boston in the seven-game series. They could beat Cleveland in the 7-game series because after the first round, that's what one of those teams they're going to be looking at. And the way they're playing right now, they're not going to beat those teams in the 7-game series, especially with Mikal Bridges struggling the way he's been struggling. I'm not sure if he changed his shot or not. It looks like he changed his shot a little bit, but he's been struggling. Granted, he's still going to go be on the floor. Yes, he's going to still play great defense, but we traded 5 first-round picks to also be an offensive force on this basketball team. He should be the third scorer on this team, and he's not doing that. Not in a consistent fashion. And I thought having Mike Brown as head coach would actually bring him back to the levels when he was, or close to the levels he was at with the Brooklyn Nets when he was averaging 24 points per game. At least give me at least close to 20 points a game. RJ Barrett would have gave us at least 19 points per game. Granted, he'll probably he's much more lesser in on defensive side of the basketball of the basketball, but at least he's going to give you that 19 points per game and get to the foul line. It seems like Bridges has forgotten his mid-range game. He can't hit a mid-range shot. He can't hit a shot from three-pointer on a consistent basis. And then the Knicks need this guy. When Mikal Bridges scores over 20 points a game, the Knicks winning percentage is extremely high. And when Brunson's doing this thing, Brunson looks. I'm not saying Brunson looks a step slow, but he looks more tired than he did under Thibodeau. And granted, we have gotten some great pieces around him. We miss Deuce McBride. He's out, possibly until the playoffs. But more than likely, it sounds like could be out for the rest of the season with the oblique tear that he had surgery on. We picked up Alvarado, New York kid, Brooklyn kid from Craster King High School. I love his defense. He's pesky, man. He's really pesky. I like that. He just creates turnovers out of nowhere, shipping guys from behind. Sometimes he has a big 3-point shot, but we didn't bring him for his offense. Brought him here to provide more defense to this team. Now, one thing I will say, I think I said it earlier, I do openly question Mike Brown's coaching acumen when it comes to the team. What's the difference between a good coach and a great coach is a great coach will coach to the talent of his team, whereas a good coach will try to get players to play to his scheme. We need a great coach to make sure the superstars are in position to bring the team to victory. This Knicks team is a deep, talented team. You know, they're very deep. I like Diawara. He should get some more burning, much more burn on the court. Jordan Clarkson, for all the Knicks struggles yesterday against the Cavs, the Knicks were struggling on offense, especially in that third quarter. They only scored 11 points in the third quarter, which is the lowest amount of points in a quarter this season for the New York Knicks. They scored 11 points. Can Mike Brown at least bring in Jordan Clarkson at least to give a little spark in that third quarter to help this team out? He is an offensive punch. But I just feel that him and Brunson, so for some reason, they don't fit well. They don't fit well together. And that's an issue. Because you're going to need Clarkson's scoring, especially with Deuce out. You're going to need Clarkson to step up. Shamet is doing a hell of a job. But I think he tweaked his knee yesterday. We'll see how he is. But Shamet is playing great. A little bit inconsistent in the past couple of games, but Shamet's good. They'll get you like 14, 15 a game when he gets the touches. The key word is when he gets the touches. Because with Brunson, the ball's in his hand. That's it. And that's the problem with Cat as well. He's not getting enough touches. And I'm gonna tell you guys about what I noticed with that interview he had with Shaq on ESPN when they came from behind 18 down against the Rockets. To make a long story short, Shaq called him soft in his face. Now, was that kind of inappropriate on national TV? Maybe. And it probably was. I do like how Cat handled it. He didn't get nasty. He didn't get unprofessional. He didn't get like, oh, come on, you old timer, you hating on me. No, he took it and he responded to that criticism. But I also didn't like how he responded to certain things that Shaq was saying, because Shaq told him, this is a Hall of Fame center, 4-time champion. It's telling you that the Knicks need you to be great in order for them to get to the promised land of the championship. Cat did mention say that we don't care about we don't care about who gets the credit or not. That's fine and dandy, but that wasn't the point about who gets the credit. Shaq was telling him, listen, you need to be a dominant big man in order for this team to go to to get to the championship and win the championship. That's what it is required of you, and you're not doing that. Was he bothered by the Giannis trade talk early in the season or before the trade deadline? Yes, he was bothered by that, but that he has to understand that this is the NBA. That will happen. That's going to happen. So you just gotta deal with it and adjust accordingly. Prove that you deserve to stay on the next team. Prove it. Go out there and drop. Go out there and drop me. You know what? You know how Cat can really prove to the Knicks fans that he doesn't deserve to be traded. Go out there and drop 29 points a game for the rest of the season from here on out. 29 points a game, 15 rebounds per game, and we'll all that Giannis talk will go away quietly. That's all he has to do. Prove like you want to stay on the team. This is the stretch where you're supposed to gear up for the playoffs. Last 20 games of the season, and secure. In all due respect, they got to secure the number 2 seed. Let's not play around with the 3 seed, and then you're gonna have to take on the Celtics in the second round. 2 teams that will be on the revenge tour against the New York Knicks would be the Celtics and the Pistons. They're gonna be on that revenge tour. So, do you want to go through both teams? Who's on the revenge tour against you to get to the NBA Finals? Which, in my estimation, they could be taking on Wemby in the finals. Even though they handle them well in the cup, but NBA championship is a totally different monster than the NBA Cup. And Wemby don't play. Wemby comes to play. So your thoughts. I want to know what you guys' thoughts about that. What I just said. What does Cat have to do to help this team? Because Brunson, as much as he wants to do it all on his own, he has to be like, I don't want to say Jordan because Jordan picked his spots, but something the way Jordan went about the game. He's not Michael. Jalen Brunson's not Michael Jordan. Let's get that clear. But he has to learn how to pick his spots throughout the game, and be more of a facilitator at times. Also, to make sure everybody on the lineup is getting their touches in. Everybody has to get touches in order for them to be in rhythm. And I feel that when he gets on those crazy 30, 40 point games, the rest of the team doesn't get any touches. So I want to see more of that from the New York Knicks. I want to see more of that. This team should make it to the NBA Finals. And if the Knicks don't make it to the NBA Finals, we could be looking at another head coach for next season. Dolan went on a few podcasts, and stated that this team has to make it to the championship. So the ownership has put the coaching staff and the front office on notice. This team has to get into the championship round. Otherwise, Dolan will, within his right, will sit there and blow up that team. Simple. As much as contributions from Mitchell Robinson, I know they're doing load management with him. I get it. But the Knicks need to find a way to have consistent play with both Mitch and Cat on the floor. The game against Houston, we saw Josh Hart get benched in the fourth quarter. We saw Mikal Bridges get benched. Mikal Bridges has been getting benched, I think, in the last three out of the last 4 games. He's been benched in the fourth quarter. Again, we give 5 first-round picks for this guy. At least 2 of those first-round picks could have been used to get Giannis, without trading for Cat, trading Cat away. There's ways you could trade for Giannis and still keep Cat. You're gonna have to throw OG in there, OG and Bridges to make it happen. To be honest with you, but then they lose some firepower in defense when it comes to that. So what you guys think? You guys talk to me. What you guys think about what the Knicks got to do? This I'm not saying I'm not ringing the alarm, but the Knicks have to be a little bit more confident going to the postseason hot. You can't go into the postseason cold. If you go into the postseason cold, guess what's going to happen? Even if they face Philadelphia, even if they fall for the 3 seed and face Philadelphia in the first round, Philadelphia can pick them off. They still got Embiid, even though he can't stay on the court. You still got Embiid. You got Maxey that will scare the hell out of you. You got Grimes. I don't know if Grimes is back from injury, and you got Paul George. I don't know if he's out for the season or he's injured. They got some talent on. You got some talent on that Sixer team. Plus, you got Nick Nurse, a championship coach, that's on that bench. So, and if they do move on from Mike Brown after this season, you gotta find somebody to get Nick Nurse on to coach that team, to coach the Knicks. That's my pick. If it's not Nick Nurse, then you got to Mark Jackson. Stop playing around and get Mark Jackson on that bench. Stop playing around. We tried everybody else. It took a former Knicks assistant coach to get us to the Eastern Conference Finals. And Tom Thibodeau. Can we get that ex-New York Knicks player to lead this team to the promised land if Mike Brown is unable to do it? This could be a one and done year for Mike Brown. I'm sorry to say that. This could be a one and done year. He's brought in there to expand the bench and his offensive acumen. But is that his offensive acumen is affecting the second superstar of the team, which is Cat. So it has to be a happy medium to make this work so the Knicks get to the championship round and see what happens. So on that note, let's move on to the New York Mets. Before I finish off the New York Jets and a special shout out to a former Jet quarterback who has won a Super Bowl. But we're going to do that last. But the New York Mets, spring training has started. Francisco Lindor is out with the hamate injury. He's going to possibly be out a little bit into the regular season. Probably won't be coming back until late April or early May with the hamate bone injury. So what's happening is you got Ronnie Mauricio is the starting shortstop for the New York Mets for now. You got Bro Bichette at third base. You got Simeon at second base, and you got Polanco at first base, who did the smart thing in calling in Keith Hernandez for some tips on playing first base. Who else can you learn how to play first base from than the Hall of Fame, in my opinion, Hall of Fame first baseman, Keith Hernandez? In my opinion, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Defensively, he's a Hall of Fame first baseman. That's probably one of the greatest to ever play first base. And Polanco is trying to pick his brain on playing that position, which I got to give a lot of respect to Polanco in regards to that. Carson Benji, they're going to try to give him the opportunity to start in right field because Soto voluntarily moved to left field, which I think is going to be good for Soto. Less stress on him as far as track and fly balls over there in left field, especially in Citi Field. Because the right field is humongous at Citi Field. So I think that'll help him. He still has a decent arm. He can still get people out from left field. And hopefully it seems like Soto seems much more happier this year in the clubhouse. He's smiling and all that. He's much more smiling than he was last season. Last season, he seemed a little bit tense, a little tight throughout, and it carried over into the season. But I'm expecting Juan Soto to go back to being a 290 hitter, hit about 40 home runs, and get about 120 RBIs this season. It all depends who is going to be hitting behind him. It's going to be Vientos. It's going to be Polanco. It's going to be Bo Bichette that's going to step up to protect him because Juan Soto needs protection Otherwise, he's going to get walked almost every single at bat. He's going to get walked. And the Mets are in a tricky situation, especially with Ronnie Mauricio, because Ronnie Mauricio is out of minor league options. And he hit a home run in the last spring training game. If he has a big spring training, okay, he's been taking the playing shortstop in the spring training, which I felt, yeah, he's a natural shortstop, but I think he should be taking some fly balls in right field as well. Right field, and a little bit in center field. We got Luis Roberts Jr. to play center field, but he's on a load management as well, so he doesn't get hurt. He should be playing some right field as well to see how he does out there during spring training. But now with Ronnie Mauricio, if he's your starting shortstop to start the season because of Lindor's injury, you just screwed up his minor league option. If you send him down to the minor leagues, at this point, he could be a waiver claim for another team, and he could blow up as a superstar on another team. The Mets have to be careful with the situation, but you can't have him sit on the bench either in the major leagues, waiting for his opportunity to spell a player during the regular season either. So, in my opinion, if I was the GM, if I was Carlos Mendoza, who is also on the hot seat, I think both owners of the blue and orange teams, the Knicks and the Mets, their owners have put their teams on notice. As far as Steve Cohen goes, playoffs or bust for the team. If the Mets don't make the playoffs, we may get rid of thrift shop shopper David Stearns. And the manager the man calls Mendoza, nice man. But for me, a lot of questions I had when they first hired him reared his ugly head last season. It was disguised in his rookie season as a manager. It was disguised because the Mets made it to the Game 6 of the NLCS. But now, the things I worried about him as manager is showed up last year. So he has to get to the playoffs in order to still be the manager of the New York Mets. I'm not like the Jet fans who wish the team is bad so we get rid of the head coach. I'm not that type of fan. I think that's stupid to think that way. As a fan of the team, you should root for your team to win. No matter who the manager is, no matter what skin color the manager is, no matter what his beliefs are, his job is to make sure the team is in position to win games and be in position to win a championship. That's all I am worried about, and that's what all fans should worry about. I want to celebrate championships. I don't want to go through a process of going through a new manager or a new head coach again. This has some stability. Have a manager that could be there for 4 or 5 years. Let's do that. The pitching staff of the New York Mets, look, it is still a question mark. Outside of Nolan, in my opinion, outside of Nolan McLean, okay, and Freddie Peralta, outside of those two guys, it's question marks down the line. Can Sean Manaea regain his form of 2024? Can Kodai Senga stay healthy throughout the season? Can David Peterson find his groove again? And you guys already know how I feel about Clay Holmes. I'm not a fan of his, but he's gonna be part of the rotation. He's gonna get a spot in the rotation. Chris Scott came back this season. He had the Tommy John surgery. Graphic Canning, we lost him in free agency, so you can't rely on that anymore. And Tyler McGill is out for the rest of the season. I'm concerned about the bullpen as well, but I feel good about. I honestly feel good about the bullpen, even though we lost Edwin Diaz. Devin Williams, hopefully he rebounds from last season. Luke Weaver, the kid they picked up from Milwaukee, I think it's Taylor something. They picked him up. in that trade for Peralta as well. Let's see how the bullpen does. But it's all about the configure. It's all about now the manager. You can't say this team is void of talent. You can't say that. It's all about the manager as far as the lineup goes. Now, if the starting pitching falters again like it did last season, that's on the GM. That's on the team president, David Stearns. That's on him. Fans got on me and told me, yo, let him cook. I let him cook. He rebounded by not offering Pete Alonso a contract. He rebounded by not signing Edwin Diaz. As far as McNeil and Nimmo goes, they were expendable, in my opinion. I probably would have sought a trade for both of them, but I would have probably tried to get another starter instead of getting Marcus Semien to play second base in the Nimmo trade. That probably would have been more of my focus, not another position player. That's probably what I would have gone that route. McNeil, I just felt the change of scenery. He needed to change the scenery. He needed to go. And before I go on to the New York Jets here, before I wanted to talk about my main man, Darryl Strawberry, who had the pleasure of meeting. I met him 2 years ago at Joe Willie's podcast. 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. I had the pleasure of meeting Darryl Strawberry, one of my idols. The reason why I played baseball was because of him. He had a statement about Pete Alonso and saying that it was a mistake for Pete Alonso to leave New York to go to Baltimore. I get that. I love Darryl. But what I disagree with Darryl at this point is Pete Alonso did not leave the Mets. The Mets never gave him reason to stay. Let's be honest. And for a lot of these fans who turned sour on Pete Alonso because he opted out right after the game last season, for you fans who are mad at him for opting out, if you guys thought he was not going to opt out after the season, no matter what he did, you guys are delusional. Straight up delusional. If you think he was not going to opt out. Him opting out after that first year, that 2-year contract with Scott Boras as his agent, man, you already know when he signed up. You knew when he signed that 2-year contract with the opt out, he was going to opt out. You just knew it was going to happen. So why are you mad at him? The guy gave us what, 8 years as a Met? No, it's 8 years or like 7 years. 7 decent years. Broke the home run record for the New York Mets. But like I said, the one thing I disagree with Darryl is you can't stay on a team if they didn't provide you a reason to stay. And the reason to stay is, where's the contract offer? If you gave the Gator a good old college try, you gave him a decent decent contract, and he walked away, then you did your part. You did what you're supposed to do. That he takes on the brunt of the criticism. But when you sit there and not offer him a contract because you didn't want him on the team, let's keep it a buck. David Stearns and Pete Alonso did not like each other personally. It was evident. I truly believe that when he signed that contract to stay on the Mets for the 25 season, that was all a negotiation between Steve Cohen and the agent. That's the only two people that was involved in that room making that deal. So as a fan of Pete Alonso, I've moved on. He's the Oriole now, so we can't talk about him anymore. We can't say as Mets fans, I wish we had Pete Alonso here. Pete Alonso is not here anymore. We still got to figure out if that production that he took with him is gone. If that production that he had can be replaced. I'm not asking the production to be replaced fully. At least 75% of that production has to be replaced. 75%. So I think this team right now on paper is a much deeper lineup. Not the depth that I like on the lineup, but it's much more deeper. So the best thing we can do as Mets fans is just give it a good old college try, and root for our team and hope they compete. Because as you know, the NL East is a tough division. You got the Braves. You got the Braves making a comeback this season. If they can stay healthy, they're going to be a problem. Of course, Philly's still there. They resigned Schwarber. There's some issues with Bryce Harper in the front office over there in Philly. Maybe the Mets should jump in and trade for Bryce Harper. Maybe that solves your first base situation as far as power hitting. Just saying. I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm just put it out there. Put it out there. And the Tachman is quietly becoming a good signing for the New York Mets. He could be a reason why Benji starts in the minor leagues, to be honest with you. So before I end the podcast, we've been on it for a minute. Let's talk about my man, Aaron Glenn. Revamped the whole coaching staff. Again, he's taking L's for the owner. Have the Jet fan base question whether he's an NFL head coach because he keeps taking L's for his boss. We know why Wink was not hired. So one thing about Aaron Glenn is he's been capping a whole lot lately. Straight capping because he's trying to protect his job. You can't shit on your boss and expect to keep your job. So I get why he's taking the L, taking the shots for his boss. I get it. For all you Jet fans that want Woody to sell the team, I want Woody to sell the team. I want Woody to sell the team to Uncle Steve. To be honest with you, have them play at Citi Field. That's my dream. Have the Jets come back to and play on New York soil in Citi Field. Week 1, someday. But Aaron Glenn, like I said, he hired Frank Wright as an offense coordinator, which is Frank Wright in essence is the head coach of the offense. Aaron Glenn's going to be calling the defense, and he feels that that's a superpower to call the defense. If that was the case, AG, again, he has to stop capping. That's why the fans don't like him. He got to stop capping. If that was the case, if play calling was your superpower, why was Steve Wilkes ever hired to run the defense? Why was he ever hired? You could say you come back and tell us that he wanted to be a CEO of the team, but you can still be a CEO of the team and still call the defensive plays. Your mentor, Bill Parcells, did that. Bill Parcells was calling offensive plays. He was calling offensive plays. Your mentor has done that. Why can't you? You couldn't do that. And bringing somebody from Detroit to run your defense, whether it was your linebackers coach in Detroit, or like this is a young guy over here that's taking over. What's his name? Duker. The one thing I must say, if you bring someone like that who you're familiar with to run your defense, it can't be just the head coach providing the game plan. Duker has to be involved in game planning and scheming for the team to put the team in position to play better than they did last season. And to think last season they were 3-14. They just had to win 2 more games to have the same record they had with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback the year before. Just to win 2 more games. They would have had the same record with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on the team. They didn't accomplish that. And I get it. The fans are frustrated. We're all frustrated. It's been 15 years the Jets have not been in the playoffs. It's been 10 years since we had a winning record. It's been 10 years since we had a winning record by the way of Todd Bowles. And who was Todd Bowles' offense coordinator in that season? The offense coordinator was Chan Gailey. That's probably was the best offense coordinator the Jets had over the past 15 years. Was Chan Gailey, the best offense coordinator. They brought in Frank Reich. Let's see what he can do. He has a good record developing quarterbacks. Something that the Jets failed to do. Let them develop the quarterback. Now the key question is who's going to be the quarterback. That's the key question. We know it's not Brady Cook, so that's out the window. Malik Willis looks like he's going to be going to Miami. There's a lot of rumors about Kirk Cousins. Everybody with this infatuation with Kirk Cousins and Kyler Murray. That's another infatuation that the news reports are throwing out there. I don't want no part of either of them. Me personally, I would try to look into a trade. Trading for Mac Jones may cost you a second round pick. So I don't think we could get Mac Jones, but that would be the guy I'll be looking for. Another guy that I would be looking for also is Geno Smith. He fits Frank Reich's build, a physique for a quarterback, over 6 feet. Let Frank Reich work with Geno Smith. Dark horse for the Jets. I know the fans will not like this because they're probably going to pop jokes about him being at the massage parlor. Is Deshaun Watson. If Shador beats him out, or the Browns just don't want to have him on the team and don't want to have Deshaun Watson on the team, that's something the Jets should be looking at. Another guy I would love to be at the Jets is Jameis Winston, but this is the problem. Jackson Dart has proven that he can't stay healthy throughout the season because of the way he plays the quarterback position. He's a scrambling quarterback. He's a running quarterback, and he tends to get hurt a lot. So the Giants are not going to trade Jameis Winston to the Jets. They're going to have to pay that New York Giant tax if they really want him on the team. So I mentioned Geno Smith. Another guy that the Jets should be looking at also, which I think they are going to be looking at, is Marcus Mariota. Another guy I think they should look at is Kenny Pickett. Where's Kenny Pickett right now? What team is he playing for? That's another guy you should definitely take a look at. You got to take a look at the incumbent, Justin Fields, even though he got benched like twice last season. But keep in mind one thing, he did not have he had a rookie offensive coordinator calling plays for him. And in many ways did not trust him to run the full offense. I say keep Justin Fields only because you don't want to pay the penalty, the salary cap penalty. He's on his last year of the contract, $15 million. Keep him on the squad. And don't forget Tyrod Taylor. You know, another guy who gets hurt a lot, but don't forget about him either. So this is what I have here. I got Geno Smith, Kenny Pickett. What other guy did I mention? Marcus Mariota, Mitchell Trubisky. He's on the Bills. He's back up for the Bills. I don't want Kyler Murray. Kirk Cousins, I don't want, but if it's for 1 year, I could deal with it. But I don't want Kyler Murray. I'm not a fan of quarterbacks under 6 feet either. My typical quarterback has to be over 6'3", actually. Not just over 6 feet, 6'3". 6'3" or better. Because I don't want the balls get hit ahead at the line of scrimmage, get batted down at the line of scrimmage. Especially you got Garrett Wilson coming back. Especially when you're going to draft a wide receiver in the draft, which the draft is deep for wide receivers. Arvell Reese is going to be the number 2 pick of the draft to be the new edge rusher to help out with Jermaine Johnson and Wig McDonald the 4. Jermaine Johnson is up for free agency. So he's playing on his 5th-year option, rookie contract. But this all will work well for the Jets if they just re-sign Breece Hall. Now, what's the number for Breece Hall? What would you give him to keep him on the team without using your franchise tag? And also, you got to re-sign AVT. John Simpson. If you have to choose between John Simpson and AVT, despite AVT's injury history, I gotta go. I gotta lean with the younger guy. But in the draft, the Jets need to draft a guard as well. Address that position as well, just in case. You got to sign Brees. You got to resign Brees Hall. What would be the contract offer for Brees Hall? Let me see. Let me see, guys. I'm going to give you a number, and I think it's reaching. I think it's going to be overpay because he wants to be on a winning team, but you got to overpay him. I would go 3 years. 3 years, $40 million. 3 years, $40 million. Guarantee. How much I'm going to guarantee that deal to make it worth his while? Guarantee $30 million. And he's signing that. If he does not sign that, you're getting 75% of your salary. 75% of your salary is guaranteed. $30 million out of $40 million. 3 years, $40 million. And you can figure out the signing bonus, whatever you want to give him. That's not going to kill your salary cap. You still got at least $90 million in salary cap space, where you can use that to get yourself a safety. You have to get a safety on the free agency and also draft a safety. Get some linebackers that fit Aaron Glenn's system. Do that. Doesn't hurt to get another D tackle to fill in, to be a disruptor, a run stopper, probably an interior pass rusher. Offense side of the ball. I'm very big on depth of the offensive line. Depth. Got to draft a wide receiver. Like I said, this wide receiver draft is deep. Drafted the wide receiver to go with Wilson, Mechie, and Mitchell. And Arian Smith. Get somebody in there. I would love to get that guy. Get another Ohio State wide receiver. You can't go wrong with an Ohio State wide receiver. And go from there. And also draft a quarterback. My ideal, what I would do in the draft if I was Mugi or Muji, I don't know how you pronounce his name. I would definitely definitely Arvell Reese, number 2. I wish Chambliss was coming out. I really do. From Ole Miss. I wish he was coming out. His 6-year eligibility has been approved, so he's going back to Ole Miss for his eligibility. I just wish he was available. Carson Beck at 16 may be too early to grab him at that number. Now, if you don't find a quarterback that you don't like, then I definitely will have to shoot for a safety in that pick 16. And if Carson Beck is still available late in the first round, try to find a way to swing a trade to go back into the first round and pick up Carson Beck. Bringing Carson Beck late first round, or if he lasts into the early second round, then you pick him up in the second round. Then you got a quarterback that you possibly could develop into your franchise quarterback from there. Unlike these Jets fans that I see in these groups, I do want the Jets to win. I would like to see the Jets win at least 8 or 9 games this season. I think that's the number that will keep Aaron Glenn as head coach. Even though a lot of the Jets fans don't want Aaron Glenn as head coach, you know what? It is what it is. I guess they want to lose forever. But you got to, after a while, after switching head coaches every 2 fucking years, it gets tiring. It's tiring. Does the owner suck? Yes, he does suck. But this is what we got. This is what we have. And you got no one to blame but the NFL who gave him the winning bid. That's the reason why he's the head owner of the New York Jets. The NFL made him the winner of the bid. That's why he's their owner. But keep in mind one thing: it wasn't all that bad as his as owner. The Jets did have some playoff appearances, two AFC championship games. You know what I'm saying? Two AFC championship games. And then his son is calling is I'm telling telling the bench Tony Cisco because of Madden ratings. Uh, but keep in mind one thing: the owner's not the greatest owner in the world. When he took over the Jets in 2000, Parcells couldn't wait to leave him to run away from him. Al Groh, who only coached one season with the Jets, couldn't wait to run away from this man. Could not wait to run away from Woody Johnson. So they knew what was up. But like I said, as a Jet fan, as a true Jet fan, I got to root for my team to win ball games. I got to root for them to win ball games. So on that note, I'm gonna end the podcast. You know, it's been a while. We've been with you guys. It's been about a month, but glad to be back with you guys. Hopefully, I'll have Matthew to join me to again go over the Knicks struggles. Bring back Joey G. We're gonna talk about wrestling. A lot of shit going on in wrestling. Elimination Chamber is this Saturday. Hopefully, me and him can sit there and recap for you next week. Of the Elimination Chamber and Royal Rumble, and where the storylines we feel needs to go from there. So on that note, it's your man Big Dom. I'm gonna sign off on this podcast. You can definitely watch the podcast on YouTube, Spotify. I'm gonna upload all the audio versions of the podcasts within the next couple of days, so you guys be able to listen on your drive to work. Listen on your breaks at work or on your free time. The audio versions will be uploaded within the next couple of days. But definitely stay tuned. We'll be back at you another True Players podcast episode next week. So it's your man Big Dom signing off on the podcast. Hit you on next week. Peace.